Mr. Fishburne, it's an honor to get to talk to you today. Thank you
Talk
for
to you
sitting
too.
down with me. I appreciate it. This movie, The Ice Road, have always been a fan, of the show The Ice Road Truckers.
Have
So it
you?
was really cool to actually get to see this, put on the big screen.
Yeah.
This was filmed in Manitoba, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you actually get to like sit down with some of these ice road truckers? Were some of these films actually filmed on the ice road, or is that more of the Hollywood, special effects of it?
Unfortunately, I didn't get to sit down with any ice truckers. It was not shot, at least the parts that I was involved in, were not on ice roads in particular, but we did shoot on a frozen lake,
Okay.
which was really kind of an interesting experience. We were also in extremely cold temperatures. And we were told from the very beginning that we really had to be careful not to be exposed too long. I think we had a limit of something like 3 or 4 minutes where we could be exposed to the cold. That's how cold it was. So what we were doing is not nearly as dangerous and extreme as what the ice road truckers on the show do, because those are those guys. That's what they really do for a living. We were Hollywood actors, making believe, pretending, really.
But that obviously brought a whole nother level of complication. Thanks for sharing that with the 3 to 4 minutes, because that's just fascinating for me. One thing that I've always wanted to talk to you, this is the first time we've actually gotten to talk. And one of the movies that's just been pivotal in my life as a movie fan, growing up, and this movie, it's like an onion. It's like every layer that I kind of go deeper into, I find more about, is Apocalypse Now. And what
Okay.
I've always wanted to ask you is, as a 14-year-old young man, coming from Brooklyn in the 70s,
Yeah.
going into the Philippines, I mean, what was that like? I mean, because those years are so pivotal for a young man growing
Sure.
up. What
Sure.
was that like to like just opening your horizon to the world?
Well, to break it down to like the simplest terms, it was obviously my coming of age. It was my apprenticeship. It was my film school. It was my high school. It was all of those things, and it really shaped me as an artist, but not only as an artist, but as a human being.
Yeah, and your entire perspective just on the world, I would assume, because we've
Okay.
gotten to travel now, through
Yeah.
what we do here in Hollywood, my
Right.
entire perspective of the world has completely traveled. Who I am as a person,
Of
has
course.
completely
Yeah.
changed.
It opened my mind up to the reality that the small place that I come from in Brooklyn was not the entire world, that there was much more to the world than Brooklyn or even New York City or even the United States of America.
Yeah, and that's why I always tell people, I'm like, travel is like the best thing you can do to change to help enhance your perception of the world.
That's right.
I know that you've been a UNICEF ambassador for decades now, and so I wanted to give you the opportunity to kind of like help us as the public, because I think a lot of times we feel kind of overwhelmed, or we feel like there's nothing we can do with these like bigger issues that are occurring in the world. For me
Right.
personally, like when I ask people if I'm going, it's hard to get even $10 out of somebody sometimes. But if I'm telling them I'm going, say, to a third world country, and that we need, book supplies, or we need toothpaste or any type of products, then we're overwhelmed with those gifts.
Right.
What can we as a public do to help these children in need
Well,
beyond just donating money?
thank you so much for asking that. You can volunteer your time. I am a U.S. ambassador for UNICEF, which means mostly my work is involved in reaching out to people here in the United States, making them aware of what UNICEF's work and their mission is. And you can volunteer. You can go online to UNICEF and find out ways in which you can be helpful. Because for me, it was a matter of children being at risk in places where there's conflict, where there are horrible wars going on, in places like Syria and places like Iraq and other places around the world. No child should have to live under those kind of circumstances, and the reality is that many children do. And everyone recognizes and loves children, and we recognize that they have the best of who we are. They are the best of who we are as human beings. They are the future. And we owe it to them to secure their present if we can. So I would say, if you are interested in finding out about the organization, go to UNICEF and look them up online and just dive in.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mr. Fishburne.
Thank you for
I love your work. I'm looking forward to all your future projects. It's just so great to finally get to talk to you, man. So I
Thanks to
appreciate
you
it.
too.
Thank you, sir.
God bless. I can't look forward to meeting you in person.
Absolutely. We will soon.
All right.
Look forward to it.